You said, well, you said you wanted to be an authentic healer. You wanted to be a voice to help shift the lives of people. And I remember going back, he reminded me the things that I wrote down before all of this happened. The reason why I opened Emerald Door Holistic. But in order for me to completely embody my journey or the message, I had to go through this. I had to die
Yes.
to be reborn.
You
And
had to die
I
to
had to
be
die
reborn.
reborn.
Hi, I'm Helen Blocker Adams, host of Reset to Reinvent podcast.
And I'm Vanessa, CEO of Talent Connect.
We have connected our talent as women entrepreneurs, and I am pleased to announce Talent Connect as a founding sponsor for our popular podcast.
For any of your staffing, payroll, or other business services needs, be sure to check out our website at talentconnectga.net. That's talentconnectga.net.
And don't forget to subscribe to our popular YouTube channel, Reset to Reinvent YouTube channel. Yes, he's coming. He's coming to the home of James Brown. Yes, he is. David Shands, also known as the king of podcasting, is coming to the AUG, and you want to be there. Not only is he coming, he is bringing Donnie Wiggins with him. Check out Social Proof Podcasts. Oh, you've seen them. Yes, you have. And they're going to be right here in Augusta, Georgia. When? Thursday, April 23rd. 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's a free event. You need to go ahead and scan this QR code. Get your seat registered right now. Limited VIP tickets are available, and limited vendor and sponsorships are available as well. Oh my goodness. We're so excited. We are so excited about having David Shands here in Augusta, Georgia, the home of James Brown. So you want to be there? It's a free event. We'll see you there. Welcome to Reset to Reinvent podcast, where we empower women and entrepreneurs to rebuild and thrive after life's toughest challenges. I'm Helen Blocker Adams, founder of Unusual Determination, breast cancer survivor, published author, and licensed insurance specialist with over 11 years of experience helping women protect their futures. I've lived on 3 continents, survived breast cancer, run for political office 3 times, and rebuilt my life more times than I can count. And now I help women like you do the same with both the inner transformation and the outer protection you need to build boldly. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to episode 54 of Reset to Reinvent podcast. I am your host, Helen Blocker Adams, and oh my goodness, we've got an exciting guest here on today. I look forward to having this interview and this conversation with this beautiful woman, as you can see on the screen. But before we do that, I don't know if you all remember, I guess about a week or 2 ago, I made a point of saying, of course, this is Women's History Month, all month long, the month of March. And I wanted to make sure that I recognize some women who reached out to me to say that they've done something of significance. So this woman on Instagram, she responded, and I want to give her a shout out. I want to go ahead and do it now because I know once I get started with this interview, it's a wrap and I get wrapped up in my guests, and I don't want to miss out on giving her a shout out because I promised that I would. Her name is Randy Black. And here's what she told me that she accomplished. Last year, she completed 12 races in 2025, including her first 10K run. Oh my goodness. She said that she's doing races this year, but with some different goals. So I want to give a big shout out to Randy Black for answering the call to getting a shout out for Women's History Month celebration list. And also, I want to let you know that, something else. Oh, got to tell you, April 23rd, we are having here in Augusta, Georgia, Podcast Summit 2026 tour here in Augusta, Georgia. David Shands and Donnie Wiggins, hosts for Social Proof Podcasts. They are going to be here in the city. We've got a free event that's coming up that evening of the 23rd at the Kroc Center from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And I want to see you in the place. Okay. Let's see. You can go to, here's the easiest way. Go to Eventbrite and just type in Podcast Summit Augusta, and you'll see that Podcast Summit Tour Augusta, and you'll be able to find it and go ahead and register. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. That's all I can tell you. David Shands has been my mentor coach for about a year now. Okay. And so, his personality and Donnie's personality, they're very personable and they know their stuff when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to content creation. And so if you're in any of those areas, then or curious about it, then I want to see you there. It's a free event. Come on now. All right. So, okay. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to have a conversation with this lovely lady that's here. Now, this lady here, she wears a lot of hats, but I'm going to let her in her own way share a little bit about herself. But this is Demetria Blount. And the first thing that comes to my mind, not only is she gorgeous, but she is she's a Marine. Now I'm told that, once a Marine, always a Marine. Okay. And so I told you, first of all, Demetria, welcome to Reset to Reinvent podcast.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And, the first time I met you in person here in Augusta, maybe a month or so ago, little over a month ago. And ladies and gents, she was spoken word. She did spoken word. And so I'm really curious because in her bio, she didn't say anything about spoken word in your bio. I thought that was very interesting. So Demetria, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us, what's your story?
Well, I took a deep breath on that. Well, I feel as though right now I'm on the other side, and of reinventing myself. So I'll say, yes, native here, Augusta, Georgia, joined the military age 17, still wet behind the ears, just wanted to get into some adventure, leave Augusta, and join the Marine Corps of all services. And did 4 years in the Marines, served overseas, was diagnosed with PTSD. I had an accident while I was overseas and was also diagnosed with traumatic brain injury. And from there, it just, the adjustment coming back home was a little rough for me. So I was also diagnosed with hypervigilance and anxiety disorder. And of course, the VA wanted to help me by giving me medication. Medication was not helping. It wasn't helping with me transitioning. It wasn't helping with any issues that I was having inside of my body. And so I said, you know what? There's another way. So I shifted completely 180 and joined a school that the military paid for, and it was a holistic health practitioners program. and I went in as a therapeutic massage therapist. So I learned massage therapy and realized, I'll tell you, before I even went into the school, I had no idea that I wanted to be a massage therapist. That hadn't even came into my mind. I just said I wanted to explore some alternative ways to treat myself other than through medication. Due to me being overseas, I came back home and I had belly issues. My belly was distended. I was always having stomach issues. And so the medication it was giving me was just killing my stomach. It was insane. So I tried colon hydrotherapy, just based off of, learning through, I never know anything about it. So just based on learning alternative care, I tried it. It helped me. It helped me so much. And I noticed that my gut was connected to my mood, my mental health. That's how I connected those dots. And so I just continued with that. Fast forward, being a massage therapist, I'm now practicing for about 20 years now, and branched off from physically doing massage into a more of a niche into women's health and energy work. And so this whole journey was me finding myself. It's just me finding myself through the energy work, through the women's health. I was married at the time, and I was told that I would not be able to naturally conceive. I didn't take that news. I said, you know what? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Now I know what I want to work on. And so I just used the different things that came to me in life. And I said, is there another way that I can view this? Is there another way that I can approach this to bring healing naturally to my body? And so that's what brought me into the women's health. And and here I
Demetria,
am.
so you're telling me that, well, first of all, I want to go back to you were in the Marines for 4 years. Now,
Yes.
just like I was saying before we started with this conversation for the actual podcast, I mentioned you that I don't think I recall meeting a woman that was a Marine.
Yes.
So what made you become a Marine? I mean, it was after I believe you said you were in JRTC in high school,
Yes.
ROTC in high school. And so it was that something that you always wanted to do, was going to the military after high school versus
Not really.
college or getting married and having a bunch of babies and living the rest of your life? Amen.
I know. No. I actually never thought of going into the military. My first introduction was ROTC in school.
I've lost you.
All
There
right.
we
What
go.
about now?
Okay.
And my screen minimized. Oh my gosh. Did I
You're
just
good.
click
You're
on-
good.
Okay, here I am. Okay. So my first introduction to the military was through 9th grade Marine Corps ROTC at Butler High School. And the sergeant major that was over the unit, he had such an impression on me. The uniform was spotless. We even went through uniform inspections, and he talked to us and taught us about holding ourselves accountable and presenting ourselves to the world and presenting ourselves nice and neat when we go out. And he taught us these things to have moral standards. And so that was impressed upon me. But then, when I left ninth grade, I went into another high school. They had Army, ROTC, and it just hit different. It just wasn't the same. And so I had inspirations of going to college on a track scholarship, but that didn't happen. And so when that fell through, I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and join the military. And I was told that I'll be able to come in at a rank higher. Instead of being a private, I come in as a private first class with more pay. So I said, all right, I'm winning already. Let's go ahead and do it. I had no thought beyond that. I just signed up. My mom had to sign me off because I was 17 years old. And next thing you know, I was in Paris Island, South Carolina, standing on yellow footprints, getting yelled at.
Mm.
And 3 months later,
like?
I was saluted as a Marine.
Demetria, was that were you anticipating that type of, I guess, boot camp harshness? Was that anything like ROTC in school?
Miss Helen, only God knew, because I had no idea. I was just day by day, moment by moment, challenge by challenge. And one thing they taught us was we were one unit, and that we were responsible for the man or the woman to the left and to the right of us. And because I'm taller, I was made a squad leader. I was in the front of the formation. So all the women behind me were my responsibility. And if I led them astray, they would follow my footsteps, and that would cause death in a hostile situation. So it trained me to think in a tactical way, to a more of a unit way, and it was definitely a challenge. If they had this thing where you had to go to the pit and do exercises until they told you to stop. Ooh. If one person in my unit just didn't do anything correct, I was in there with them.
Oh, wow.
So it was one sound, one boot, one shot, one gun, one unit. So it's not I, it's us. So the community aspect, I needed to learn that. So I said, I just, grabbed that, put that in my life basket. And I learned a good deal from that going forward.
Absolutely. I mean, leadership skills, building camaraderie, building community.
Yes.
And so how many women were a part of your unit?
So inside of the unit I was in, it was about 50 women. And it break us down into, I would say, 4 squads, and the details of all of that kind of leaves me right now. Okay. I just know that it was a lot going on, moment by moment, day by day, and I was pressing forward so that I could graduate with honors and become a Marine at the end. And whatever it took, I did it, because I wasn't going to quit. Because if I quit, I would have to be recycled back to the other unit, and it takes 3 months to finish boot camp, and I would have to extend longer and longer. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm going to go ahead and be successful.
Well, I tell you what, Demetria, that is very, very impressive. Okay, so you joined the United States Marine Corps at 17 years old, and even your mom had to sign off because you were under 18. Yes. But you served 4 years, including deployment for the war in Iraq.
Yes, ma'am.
And then after that is when you got the different diagnosis, service-connected PTSD, traumatic brain injury, anxiety disorder, and so that's why you had to wrap up your term for 4 years, because you had some health issues at that point.
Yes. Yes.
Now, the getting out of the military, having to take so many different meds, which is typically what doctors do. They just dump meds and maybe this could work, maybe this will work, maybe this would work. So at what point, Demetria, did you say, you know what, I've got to do something different so that I can live? Because you said with your stomach, the medication, it was messing your stomach up.
Yes.
And so were you at like and you did share this earlier in terms of the process, but were you what was the breaking point? What was the trigger to make you say, okay, you know what? Enough is enough. Was it a year later after you got out, 6 months? Tell me about that time frame.
Well, thankfully, they tried to put us through a transition program to, just to transition us from military to civilian life. And so I was sitting in a group with other Marines that had just gotten out, and we were going through mental health evaluations and counseling and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in this room just looking at everyone, and everyone had issues. Some people in the group had been out for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and their transition, it wasn't smooth. And they were talking about the medications they were on. Some of them had, veered off into recreational drugs. Some of them had issues where they ended up getting locked up, getting in trouble with the law, because the transition from military to civilian life is turbulent. At that point, I decided this is not going to be me. This is not going to be me. I can't do this. I can't sit here and tell a story that sounds like this. I want to have hope at the end of my story. I want to have resolve. I want to have survival, resilience. I want to say that I'm thriving now, not, dusty and in the dirt and the dumps, because I can't pull myself up. So I said, I prayed about it. And the resolve came. Go to school. Okay, what am I going to go to school for? My mom kept a lot of books around with herbs and recipes and even an old book from my great grandmother. She had unorthodox remedies. And so I remember thumbing through that book and seeing this. I said, you know what, I'm going to do something like this. What is this called? So I started researching it, and I found a school that the military, the GI Bill, paid for, and it's holistic health practitioner's course with specializing in massage therapy. So I was like, all right, that sounds good. Let's sign up for it. Let's do it. We're in there. I like the curriculum, and it put me in a place where I was with a group of people again.
Yeah.
You don't realize when you're out of the military, you're so used to being with a group of people, you're keeping each other up. When you're alone, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So you're so used to responding to someone else to the left and to your right, having responsibilities. So when I joined this class, it helped me. It helped my anxiety. Just getting a massage. I never had a massage before. And that was amazing. I'm like, what is this? And I became very good at it. I aced my class, every class. Everyone wanted to get a massage by me. I was like, okay, let's do this. 20 years later, then I hit another challenge. But we'll get into that.
Okay, yes, we will get into that in just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so the even with the group of people that were a part of your class, They were positive. They were upbeat. They were on a similar path as you to in terms of wellness. So that had to make a positive impact on
Yes,
the anxiety and all of that.
yes. I had different ways to cope now. I had different
Wow.
choices other than just running to a pill. I was taught that I can sit still, close my eyes, breathe, listen to my heart, feel my body move in breath, know that I have a spirit inside of me, or know that I am spirit, and see what that feels like, or play with that idea. What if? I grew up Christian, going to church. My mom had me working in the church ever since I could walk. And so I learned about God, but I really didn't know. I didn't know. I was just following what my mom told me to do.
Right.
But I would say, going through what I went through coming out of the military, I had my first introduction to God and spirituality through feeling it through my body, through my mental state, adjusting from one state to the next, seeing the difference, asking for help when no one else could help me, but yet and still peace came upon me. I said, this has to be God. And I just trusted that feeling because it felt better than what I felt before. Still didn't know. I just kept walking in it and kept walking. And it led me here, it led me there, led me to this person, led me to that person. And, step by step, my journey. And I was young. When I got out of the military, I was 21 years old. Right out of the military, I met my husband and we got married. So it was like, boom, 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 Now I'm a wife. What does that mean? Another sense of anxiety. So, yes, I just trust God all the way through it. I didn't know what that meant to trust God, but I knew the feeling inside of me was my barometer of movement. I just went with it.
And that's why it's so important to know your body and trust your feelings and what you feel on the inside. Because, for example, times that we might go to the doctor. Okay, we go to the doctor and we got a pain here. I feel this, and then the doctor said, that's why the doctor likes to ask, how do you feel? What hurts? What's going on? Because they can't see, especially if it's on the inside. They
Right.
can't see, so it's important for us to know what's going on in our inside, in our body. But at the same time, what you've been able to do is marry the two, actually three, your mind, body, and soul, with having had the traumatic brain injury, the PTSD, the anxiety, and then your willingness to say, you know what, I don't want to be on drugs the rest of my life
Right.
dealing with this. And so you were open-minded and you were like, you know what, and but what is happening is what I'm seeing is that while you're healing yourself, now you got the tools, you got the wherewithal, you got the proof that you know what, I can help you, and you that may be going through similar type of situations.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right. That's right. And I didn't realize that until I got into the field of working, and I noticed that people were coming in telling me my story without even knowing me. And for some reason, I had an answer for them. I had a word of encouragement, guidance. I was like, this lady came in and it was almost like she was in my back pocket. She was telling me everything that was in my mind. Like, well, how does this happen? And so that's when I learned about the law of attraction and resonance, frequency, and vibration. You attract who you are. And when it comes to healing, you attract, if you want to heal, it's like you attract another camera angle of the things that you want to heal so that you can see it from another perspective and be able to handle it from that space. And then as you're handling it, you're talking to them, but you're talking to yourself. It's like a supernatural
Mhm.
flow that's just coming through you to that other person. I just surrendered. I learned about that and I just surrendered to it, because half of the time I have no idea what I'm about to say when someone is coming to me with a problem. I just trust this stream of information that just flows through me to them, but I hear it too. So I'm serving them and myself at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, in your bio, you used the term energy, hygiene awareness,
Yes.
and self care interventions with coaching. Tell me about that. I have never heard the term energy, hygiene awareness.
Yes. Well, just the basics. I don't want to go too far into the weeds with it,
Okay.
but just basic. We are energy beings. We talk energy terms all the time. I'm tired. That means your energy is low. Like, girl, I'm pumped. That means your energy is high. Oh,
Oh,
I feel that person is I just have bad vibes because you feel the frequency and resonance off that individual. Somebody, you're trying to drink something and then it falls because someone's looking at you. It's we all live within this feel, within a feel, within a feel. And if we understand how that works, we'll know how to be um, just participants of this field in a conscious way. So I'll break it down with dirty energy. Dirty energy is energy where, say, you're just picking it up off of someone that it doesn't serve you, but you're holding on to it,
oh,
or you're having negative thoughts in your mind over and over about yourself, and it's bogging you down, pulling your life force energy away from you. A lot of us go through life just spewing off energy like we have a leak. And that leak of energy, and that energy is not going to where we want to go. So say, all right, I'm trying to start a business and I need all of this energy to put into my business.
mhm.
However, I have leaks going on from things that I'm paying attention to, negative beliefs that my mom probably instilled in me, beliefs that my teacher instilled in me. I feel like that I'm mediocre and a failure, but yet and still I need to be a winner in order to build this business, but I have conflict. So we'll get down to the maintenance of your energy, the hygiene of your energy. How are you grounding yourself? Are you in nature? Are you taking salt baths? Are you breathing? Have you addressed the negative thoughts in your mind? Have you addressed the negative beliefs that you've adopted from your tribe, your mother, your school, your church? All of these things from 0 to 7, we're a sponge, and we're taking in all of this, and we have no idea how to decipher this energy or this information, and we just work on default, and we have no idea that we're acting like our mother that we don't like. you know, we're fussing at her because she's doing something, but we're doing the same thing. Let's check your hygiene. Let's check your energy hygiene and address it head on, clean it up, and now you have adequate energy to put towards that business that you're trying to grow. So
That
that's
is,
the piece of it without going into the
is
weeds too
man,
deeply.
that's a whole workshop seminar all by itself. So you
Yeah.
founded Emerald Door Holistics.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that. Where did that name come from?
Okay, so learning about the energy highways in the body, learn about the energy doors, the heart. I said, whatever work I want to do my work from the heart. And so green is the color, the energy of the heart. And so,
Oh,
all right, the heart is a door. All right, so I can't say green door. I don't want to say green door. And then I woke up one day and I was in meditation. I saw this beautiful gem. It's like emerald. It's like emerald door. Okay, let's do that. So it just kind of, just came to me like that. And I poured myself into it, and I learned a lot about myself. I think I burned out during that time. But the biggest thing that I learned is self-care. Before I even knew to promote self-care. No, before I was promoting self-care before I realized I needed to exercise self-care in my life. If that makes sense. It's like,
yeah,
I was thrown into the fire to feel, all right, this is what it feels like to neglect yourself and pour so much into others where you forget to give back to you. And I ended up becoming ill because of that.
and that's where you took. I mean, you were on a high, if you will, a natural high of healing yourself and
Yeah.
mentally getting in a good place, starting the business, but you were so immersed in the business
Yes.
that you look back and it's like, wait a minute, ooh, I'm not taking care of me, burning yourself out. And then in 2023, something else happened,
Yes,
Demetria.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I was in denial. I had symptoms, and it's like my body. I thought it was allergies because it happened in March. I still remember. I said, "All right, here comes the pollen. Here comes the pollen," and my eyes started itching really bad. I started having some issues with coughing or my nose, my sinuses. I was like, oh, it's nothing. I'll just take an allergy pill and just keep going. And then, it started to become worse. Like my eyes became blurry, and just different things started happening with my skin. Like, what's going on? And here I am. I'm like, okay, I just go to my herbs, go ahead and drink this tea, cleanse myself. I'm all right. I'm going to keep working. Well, it seems like as soon as I just accepted the fact that something was wrong, truly wrong, and I needed to go to the doctor to just get this checked out. Full blown hives over my body, blisters all on my arms, my eyes, my mouth, my hands, my back, every inch of my body just bubbled. And it happened in phases. So it was in March when I started receiving the first symptoms. By June, I was full blown and I was bedridden. I couldn't, my feet, I had blisters on the soles of my feet, blisters in my hands. And forgive me for, I'm getting a little emotional because honestly, this is the first time telling my story, this part of my story. And they say that you go through a dark night of the soul. I didn't know what that was, but I found out very quickly. I at that point, looking at my body, I had no idea what was going on in the inside. And I thought that maybe it's happening in the inside and this is how I'm going to die. But I couldn't believe that it was going to happen that way. I'm like, oh, no, God has aligned me with so much information and so many things to do. I can't go out like this. This can't be how I go out. But it took me down to the point where I wasn't able to walk because my feet just pretty much turned to mush. I was diagnosed. They had no idea what was going on with me.
So it was almost Demetria, I don't mean to cut you off, but it was almost like something was taking over your body. You know,
Yes,
sometimes we watch those sci-fi movies and then they got these weird creatures and then creature on the inside and then they're coming out and they're all deformed and this and that. That was
yes,
almost like something was taking over your body.
complete hijack.
Oh my God.
Complete hijack. My whole life changed. Here I am. I had just opened Emerald Door Holistics. I signed a 5-year lease on a building, a standalone building. I had gotten my marketing together. And I hired on other therapists. But you know what, Miss Helen, something inside of me felt resistant through that whole time. When I think back, something wouldn't allow me to go live and talk about my business. Something, it was a lot of foot on the gas, foot on the brake, foot on the gas, foot on the brake. I I worried a whole lot about finances. I was the main horse trying to run this business and fulfill the contract that I had signed for this building.
Mm.
And I couldn't think of anything else, but it was taking away from me being spirit led to serve. And I was in my body now. I was thinking about finances and marketing and all the stuff that I wasn't able to, business, growing a business. I didn't know anything about doing any of that. So I was stressing badly. This building was more than my mortgage at home, and
Mm.
I had no idea what I was going to do. And next thing you know, this happened. And I had to make the phone call to the landlord to let her know that I was not going to be able to work. And the people that I hired can't do the turnaround enough to be sufficient to take care of the business. I have to breach the contract. And it took a blow to my ego completely. But I had to kill that.
Yeah, because you were sick.
I was sick.
You were sick.
But I'm gonna tell you something. There's something about a Marine. I tell my friends it's almost like I was walking, and each time I took a knee, I tried to get back up, and I kept going. Like God was just trying to get me to sit down, but I just kept moving until I was face down, stuck in the dust,
Mm.
and that's when I gave up.
Mm.
When I think about it, it was insane. I should have sat down a long time ago. Maybe I would have avoided, something, but maybe not. Maybe this was what I needed to go through. Another challenge.
And once again, there are life's challenges and that's what this podcast is about: resetting and reinventing and finding ways to get from point A to point Z. And obviously that was traumatic. I mean, your body took a turn in a way that you've never experienced before. So tell us the name, because I'm not even going to try. All I know is says something about butterfly syndrome, but I
Yes.
know it's a long word. So tell us about that. Okay, that was the diagnosis with everything that was going on, and tell us how you are now and how you got through that.
Yes. So the diagnosis was epidermolysis bullosa acquisita. And epidermolysis bullosa is a genetic deformity that children are born with. That is no cure, absolutely no cure. When they come out of the womb, their collagen is attacked, where their skin just moves and over their body, and it's filled with fluid, and they have deformed fingers, maybe deformed ears, and maybe some children are born with their face connected to their shoulder, and their feet are just together like this. With me, acquisita, meaning I acquired this later on in life.
Oh,
But they're saying, well, I don't know. Being it so that this is a genetic deformity, we don't know how you're going to respond, how you're going to react. And we're just going to watch you. And here, take this medicine, take that medicine. Let's see if that works. Let's see if this works. I went through a lot of trials of medication to halt the symptoms. My body was attacking itself. And it seemed like it was fighting harder and harder with every medication or trial we tried to do. And it went from phase to phase to phase. It started with my body bubbling, and then sores, and then my skin became like paper thin to the point where I couldn't sit on my bottom long, because if I moved, shifted to the left or to the right, I can rip my skin off my bottom.
oh
And
my
I did.
gosh.
My back, I couldn't lay down in the bed. I would wake up stuck to my sheet because of fluid. I know, and it's graphic, but
Oh, but
it's real, and it's what
yeah.
I went through. My hands, you probably can see my hands.
Okay. Yes.
A lot of people see and they ask if I was burned.
Yep. Because I asked you that when I met you that night.
Right. It's not a burn, but I had to be treated in the burn center as if I had second degree burn.
Oh,
My feet are the same way are my hands. So it attacked my mucous membrane. So I was not able to talk really, not really clearly, because the tissue in my mouth and my tongue, and all of that was just, my esophagus closed up to the point where I could not eat, I could not drink. As far as eating, I had to puree everything, and I had to have 9 procedures in order to reopen my esophagus. And now, I'm fine. I'm eating everything. I lost so much weight. It's a joke. My dad, he was my main caregiver, my dad, and he told me, he says, yeah, you're going to need to put rocks in your pocket so the wind doesn't blow you away, because I had lost so much weight.
Wow.
But I can laugh at it now because that was how we cope with just humor. But going through it, so that was 23. Going through it, 24. Here we are, let's see, 25. And here I am in 26. And I'm fine. Everything, it's just like, what was that all about? Because no symptoms at all. But I think I would attribute it to mindset.
Yes.
I did not allow myself to be taken. I kept pushing past what I saw. I allowed myself to go through it. I wasn't in denial. I mean, I couldn't be. I looked at myself and I saw what I saw. It was rough, yes. And looking at myself in the mirror, repeat traumas day by day by day over the simplest things.
Yes.
Writing, I couldn't write. I wanted to journal, but I couldn't journal. I couldn't type on the keyboard because blisters would come on my fingers. Talking, I drooled all over the place. It was ridiculous. I just asked God, why am I going through this? I do so much good in the world. I help so many people. What? Why? I couldn't understand why.
What answer did he give you?
Because why not? Would you wish this on someone else? I wouldn't wish this on anybody. He says, well, you said you wanted to be an authentic healer. You wanted to be a voice to help shift the lives of people. And I remember going back, he reminded me the things that I wrote down before all of this happened, the reason why I opened Emerald Door Holistic. But in order for me to completely embody my journey or the message, I had to go through this. I had to die to be reborn.
You had to die to be reborn.
I had adopted the phoenix prior to all of this. I adopted the Phoenix. I mean, I got tattooed on my arm, my back, Phoenix. I just kept seeing the Phoenix. But the story of the Phoenix is that it went up in flames, turned into ash, and became reborn. And that's exactly what happened to me. Because while I was healing, my skin was flaking off, and every place I sat, it was like ashes. It was everywhere. I was just dropping skin all over the place, peeling off, healing, and it was just fluff everywhere, just ashes. That's all I can think of. I was like, I am a phoenix.
A real live Phoenix.
Real live Phoenix.
Oh my goodness, Demetria, you are just such an inspiration. I can't wait for my listeners and viewers to hear your story. How can a person get in contact with you in terms of holistic, whatever that you offer? Tell us your social media. How can they get in contact with you? Please share that with us.
Okay, so right now I am reinventing, so I'm putting everything together to offer service. I had to go back into and ask God, what is it that you would like for me to do now going forward? I just didn't want to go off of what I thought I knew and what I should do. So I'm working strategically. However, I am on Instagram. You can find me at Demetria B Love on Instagram, and I'm also on Facebook, Demetria Blount. So go ahead, friend me, be in the queue, because I'm waking up and I'm moving and I'm about to start sending some things out there, services, and just go ahead and be there, and so that you can know what's going on.
All right. Wow. Well, I'm definitely going to go on and make sure that I follow you. We're definitely going to stay in touch. Demetria, before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers in terms of hope, or anything that's on your heart that maybe we haven't addressed, that you want to make sure that my viewers know straight from your heart, Demetria Blount?
The first thing that's coming to mind is a quote, "As a man thinketh, so is he." So if you think you can do it, then you can. And you're right. If you think that you cannot, then you're right. So what is it that you're thinking? And do you embody that?
Mm.
So I had to do that. I had to go through that. What am I thinking about myself? Am I in conflict with my own beliefs? And can I change my belief? Yes, I can. Nothing is solid. Everything can be shifted and changed. If you want to be a winner in your life, then you shall be. If your mind aligns with your heart and you trust the guidance of God, so be it. It shall be.
Demetria, you are you're one of my new sheroes. I am so glad that this was the platform where you were able to share the second half of your health challenge journey, and that it was exposed here. I really appreciate that. God bless you, continued good health. And we're going to keep our eye on you as you serve women all over the world with your story, of victory and hope. And I'm just so blessed to be able to play a small part in helping to get the word out, because by golly, next when this goes on the air, on all of the platforms, we're going to make sure that a lot of people hear your story.
Thank you so much. It was an honor and just to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity to break my silence. This is the first time ever just telling my story in this manner. And I thank you so much for this opportunity. God bless you. God
Oh,
bless.
you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Well, folks, I tell you what, there is nothing else for me to say with this episode. I'm going to say, have yourself a great week. You all are amazing. Thank you, Demetria, again for being our guest today. And folks, for my podcast listeners, I want you to continue to be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Why? Because you deserve to be inspired.
Right.
Today's episode of Reset to Reinvent podcast is brought to you by the Adams Group Agency, developing final expense